Today is July 17th, 2433 AD. My name is Ruby Tuesday. I'm a galactic gumshoe. A good one. My office is on 2101 Carl Sagan Lane, New Fez, Europa, Jupiter. This case I'm about to tell you is one of the craziest I've ever dealt with. I call it Tired of the Green Menace. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I had just stepped off the slidewalk and into the Cafe Galaxia to watch the afternoon news on Starvision when this peculiar voice croaked out my name.
Miss Ruby Tuesday, I presume.
Yeah.
Sit down, please.
Why?
I am Colonel Abdullah of the Star Cluster Saudi Asteroidia.
So?
I am of the class Robatis, class 7. You know what this is, Miss Ruby?
A high-class Arab android. So?
I am Grand Wazir to His Highness Sheikh Ali Ali Oo, may his camels never tire, and I have a job for you.
Swell.
Please, now will you sit?
Sure. What's the caper?
I see you have excellent credentials, Miss Ruby.
What's the job?
The Caper, one of the favorite planets located upon the periphery of Sheikh Ali Ali Oo's personal solar system, has been, how you say, heisted.
Stolen?
Yes.
The whole planet?
Yes.
You're not talking about an asteroid, you're talking about a world?
Yes. It was simply lifted from the Middle Eastern star cluster of Saudi Asteroidia.
Which planet?
Sheikh Ali Ali Oo's beloved Cleo.
Cleo?
Yes. I was away on business. When I returned, alas, the world of Cleo is gone.
That's all you know? Just...
Poof. Yes.
People living on it?
No. Barren. But beautiful.
You want me to find it?
His Highness will pay handsomely for your services.
Got any leads?
We believe the ones behind this heist may be the dark forces of Fong from the conceptual planet known as Dong Along.
What do you mean, conceptual? It exists in their minds?
Not entirely. It is also physical reality. Here is a recent article in Scientific Galaxia. It tells of a new means of moving asteroids, quite large, say 100-kilometer diameter.
Advanced fulcrum magnetic works of Fong.
A totally unknown company, and suddenly they appear with highly sophisticated technology that may free and move asteroids, perhaps even small planets.
What's Cleo got that they'd want?
Nothing. Perhaps they wish a ransom. You smoke this cigarette, Miss Ruby?
Sure. That's a pretty fancy case you have there.
Your brand, I believe.
Yeah. Thanks.
The case is the only one of its kind, made from an alloy of two rare metals discovered within the asteroids of Saudi Asteroidia. It is yours.
Oh, yeah?
Surprised, of course. Back to business. What are your fees for deep space, Miss Ruby? Is there a problem?
Maybe. This magnetic works on Dangalang comes up with a means of freeing asteroids. What makes you think they freed your planet?
It is, how you say, a long shot, but the best and only lead we know. So, we have arranged for you to be a representative of the reputable firm of Intergalactic Construction and Mining Corporation, seeking a means to free and move asteroids for convenient mining. Agreed?
All right.
What are your fees, Miss Ruby?
After a bit of the traditional haggling, we settled on a flat fee of 1,500 solar credits per Terran turn, plus expenses, plus a bonus of 100,000 Terra Lire when I actually found Sheikh Ali Aliou's beloved planet, Cleo. The next day, I was in my private cruiser, headed along a trajectory to the planet Dangalang. I was doing a little research on the way, tapped back into the central computer on Europa, when I discovered the catch. Why Colonel Abdullah had been so generous. No Terran has ever lasted more than 36 hours on Dangalang without being carried out in a force field straitjacket. The data didn't say why, but I got my first clue when I reached for a cigarette.
Aha, you may be surprised to hear my voice, Miss Ruby.
Christ! What's he doing in the cigarette case? All right. What the hell are you doing in there, Colonel?
Being as I am of the advanced race of robots, it is quite simple to place within this cigarette case a few microscopic components that quite accurately duplicate my mental mechanisms.
Nice time to tell me this. I think I just... forget something?
Beware the demons of deja vu.
I caught a surface taxi from the spaceport. I was surprised to find Dangalang such a backward planet. Their one major city, the fragrant city of Fang, looks like something out of Terra's 21st century. The people are short humanoids, orientalish in appearance, but there's one major exception. Their skin is bright green. Oh yeah, there's one other small item. Everyone's last name is Fang. The driver had been watching me in the rearview mirror. I figured they don't get many Terrans out in this arm of the galaxy.
You're here to see the focal fulcrum magnetic works of Fong?
How do you know?
I have sources. My card.
Favored of Fong, conceptual detective and taxi driver. I'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, thanks.
The surface taxi settled in alongside my hotel, the Fountain of Fang. It had seen better days. There was a fountain in the center of the lobby, a couple of caged birds, potted plants of some sort. I felt as though the whole place had been teleported in from some other time. What made it really weird was I had the feeling I'd been here before.
Welcome to Dong Along in the Fountain of Fang, Miss Tuesday. We hope your stay will be pleasant.
Thanks.
I wish you great success in finding your missing planet, but if you should need assistance, my card.
Forthright of Fang, conceptual detective and desk clerk. Where'd you hear about my looking for a missing planet?
I have sources. Room 412 for Miss Tuesday.
We took the rickety lift up to the 4th floor. The bellboy refused a tip, but he handed me his card. Fluent of Fang, conceptual detective and bellboy. Thanks. I'll keep you in mind. The teledome sounded. I touched the button. A green, sinister face leered out of the screen.
Ms. Tuesdays.
That's right.
May I welcome you to Dongalong?
Sure. Who are you?
May I also say that it would be very wise for you not to remain upon our humble planet.
Oh, why?
For you it may be of considerable value.
What's this considerable value?
Your life, if you value it considerably.
Ha, you're funny. Let's see your card.
I'm not a detective.
Like I said, who are you?
I am a conceptual villain.
Welcome to Dongalong. Colonel?
Yes?
I think I've just had my life threatened.
You have in all probability encountered the dark forces of Fang.
That figures. Teledome again. Yeah?
Pardon the humble intrusion,
but lives of Miss Tuesday is most gravely endangered species.
Yeah, so's yours when I find out who you are, Fatso.
I also uphold noble tradition of private detective.
Okay.
I am humbly known as Falcon of Fong.
Conceptual detective.
Correct. Conceptual detective and antiques.
Thanks, I don't need a detective.
Please accept apology for forceful intrusion.
Forget it. So long.
But please, one brief moment more.
Shoot.
The one who has appeared with message of threat is longtime foe of the Falcon.
Yeah, so?
His is villainy impossible to conceive, for he dwells upon the periphery of the group mind.
Something clicked inside. The group mind. You mean anything that goes on, everyone knows?
Most certainly. No one has explained this?
You'd know if they had, right?
We do not understand the mind of alien visitors.
Let me get this straight.
Beg interruption. But if worthy colleague may pay visit to humble antique shop of Fong, assistance to caper may be achieved.
All right. What's your address?
Corner of Forspoke and Forsake of Fong.
See you in half an hour. Is this legit? Or did I just swallow the fatso's bait? On the way down to the lobby, I asked the lift operator, "What did you think of that conversation with the Falcon of Fong?"
Falcon of Fong is a very good man, but if further assistance be desired, my card.
Follower of Fong, conceptual detective and elevator operator. Thanks. The surface taxi pulled up to a little antique shop in the old section of the city. The driver, as is the custom, gave me his card. Fondness of Fong, etc. I went inside. The place seemed deserted. That was okay. Gave me a chance to look around. It was hard to focus. I had that damn feeling I'd been here before. I heard a sound at the back of the shop, and a chubby little dongalongese waddled through the bead curtains.
Miss Rube Tuesday, yes?
That's right.
You do my lowly shop immense honor.
Thanks.
It is of great importance we speak of matter concerning missing planet of Sodi Asteroidia.
Look, how come everyone here knows what I'm looking for?
One know, all know. Such is clever conceptual phenomenon of group mind.
I've run into this group mind stuff on other worlds. Anyone that's part of it can feed in anything they want, and unless the common experience tosses it out, your group mind can be swimming with fat lies, distortions, half-baked opinions, you know, shit.
No different from the single mind?
Ha!
You will perhaps honor me by partaking in this miserable tea I have prepared.
Sure.
Ah! Please, do not sit there. That is priceless piece of shit. Instead, if you will condescend to sit on this atrocious but comfortable wicker chair.
Oh, sorry. Look, when I said shit, I didn't mean the stuff in your shop.
Shop filled with antique shit. No necessity to clarify. Sit, please. The collective mind of the dongalongese is under constant scrutiny by many aspiring detective. Shit of the mind is dissembled by constant nitpicking, picking apart by many nits. You see?
You have any theories about Cleo?
A theory like mist and eyeglass. Obscure the vision.
Who's the number one man behind the dark forces of Fong?
A most despicable villain. He is known as the Forked Forefinger of Fong.
Where do I find him?
He does not exist in your present time-space.
Huh.
If you present no fierce objection, I have yearning to offer assistance of my humble conceptual detection.
Why?
The long history of Falcon of Fong and Forked Forefinger of Fong is fraught with battles fiercely fought.
That's why you want to work with me.
If you have no fierce objection.
You know this turf better than I ever will. It takes some pretty sophisticated technology to heist a planet. You think the dark forces could do it?
I don't know. If they did, all dongalongese would know. So the answer is no, they did not.
What about the advanced fulcrum magnetic works of Fong? They honest?
As far as I know.
And who are the demons of déjà vu?
They are shunned as the unsavory ones.
Why?
To understand with fullness, it is necessary to grasp long history of Dongalong.
Look, if the forked forefinger of Fong is part of this heist, but he's part of the group mind, how the hell do you catch him? He'll know your moves as soon as they're thought, right?
Conceptual detection exquisitely subtle.
Okay. I need your help.
The Falcon of Fong is greatly honored by most friendly invitation.
Mm-hmm. Why did the forked forefinger of Fong threaten me?
It will be revealed when again he will speak with you.
Look, my time here is limited.
The dark forces are not without eagerness to converse, while you still possess a measure of good sanity.
Yeah. Thanks for the tea.
Pardon humble suggestion. Do not lose carefulness.
Colonel,
Yes,
ever hear of the Falcon of Fong?
detective?
Runs an antique shop.
What does he want?
He says he's been after the dark forces of Fong for years. So says he can help. Hey, you gone back to sleep in there?
The robotist does not sleep.
Yeah.
How can he help if after years of chase he has not caught them?
Ah, forget it. I wasn't sure what to do next, so I decided on a little sightseeing. It's a strange city, the fragrant city of Fong. The streets are narrow and crowded. To alien eyes, it's an absolute maze. It's impossible to know where you're going or even where you've been. By the sound of things, I figured to be somewhere near the docks. Looked like it might be a warehouse district. Darkness was moving in. The days are quick on Dongalong. When night starts to come on, you have about 12 minutes of dusk before blackness. I was being followed. 2 heavy, dark green complexed mugs have been keeping pace the last half kilo or so. It suddenly dawns on me there's no one else around. Suddenly they're moving in, timing it so when darkness hits, they're on me. I start running. The streets are impossible. I don't know where I'm going. Either they're trying to catch me, or they're herding me to... Ah, shit! A wrong turn and I'm in a cul-de-sac. At the end of the street, there's a tavern, the front wheel of Fong. Suddenly a laser stun flashes past my face. So that's their game. I whirl around, drop to one knee, my own Smith Kawasaki special out of the shoulder holster. I hit the first one flat in the chest. The blast bounces right off of him. The son of a bitch is wearing a shield. I'm on my feet. Duck another blast, and into the bar. The place drops silent. All the little green sailors are staring at me. I have the uneasy feeling I've been here before. I spot a back door. I'm in between the tables and out the back. Wrong, it's a back room. I can hear the 2 heavies clumping closer. There's steps going down into a cellar. I take the steps. Another door at the bottom. Christ! I've stepped... I don't know what the hell this is. There's rows of opaque, heavy glass jars about 2 meters high. Attached to the top of each one is a coil that runs across the ceiling to a transformer in the center of the room. As my eyes focus to the dim light, I realize there's someone or something huddled up inside the glass. Its eyes are wide open but glazed. I notice there are others all huddled inside these weird glass jars. The door bursts open. I whirl around to catch the first heavy with a Callisto combat chop. He goes down with a faint squack, but the second one levels a stunner and fires point blank. The room tilts over. There's a brief music interlude. I feel something in my hand. It's wet, slippery, and cold.
Your drink, Miss Tuesdays.
Huh?
You have not tasted your drink.
Oh, no?
You are very attractive, Miss Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. He smiled and speared an olive with his forefinger.
You see why they call me the forked forefinger of Fong?
What do you want?
I believe that is my question, but this is not a good place to talk. Shall we step beneath the stars?
We stepped out on a balcony. The stars were brilliant. The air was scented with the perfume of Dongalongi's jasmine. Soft music came from somewhere across the gardens. It could have been a romantic night, except for this creep. My client wants his planet back.
Oh?
Don't give me oh. What's your price?
Ah, Miss Tuesdays, you fail to understand. Look above you. Suns, moons, worlds, the universe. Why do I want Sheik Ali-Ali's useless little barren sphere? For no reason whatever.
Why'd you bring me here?
Do you have Terran cigarettes?
Oh, yeah. Help yourself.
Thank you. A splendid cigarette case. One of a kind, I assume.
That's right.
A gift?
Yep. Do you have Cleo?
No.
You know who does?
So soon, time has run out.
Through the darkness, someone is coming, running fast. Something's in his hand. He holds it high as he approaches and brings it down over my head.
Oh, my deepest pardon. But necessity demands shattering of opaque glass. My partner has been so encased.
They had me stuck under one of those glass jugs.
An unfortunate incident. Let us extract ourselves from this den of déjà vu.
What are those people back there hooked on?
The ecstasy of déjà vu.
Huh?
They wish to dream their own fate, separate from the whole.
Why is this déjà vu stuff such a big deal here?
To properly grasp, one need long comprehension of complete history of Dongalong.
How long?
One's lifetime long.
I'll take a rain check. Taxi!
A slight reminder. Do not lose carefulness.
It's not gonna happen again.
Good. Otherwise, one may well consider applying to oneself a resounding kick.
I got back to my hotel and tried to grab some sleep. It was a nervous sleep, a lot of uncompleted dreams button into each other. Near morning, I got soothed a bit when a chorus of wrinkled old green men started singing some old Dongalongese songs in my head. I don't know why it seemed so sad. I started to cry. And then something snapped. I understood what they were singing. We had no God. We were God, but God came. We were not God. I don't know. I woke up. It was getting light. In an hour, Advanced Fulcrum Magnetic Works of Fang had sent their air car. About 300 kilometers outside the fragrant city of Fang, we descended into the foothills of a jagged mountain range known as the Fangs of Fang. The air car pilot gave me his card, forerunner of Fang, conceptual detective and chauffeur. Thanks. A wimpy, pale green longie came loping over.
Ah, Miss Tuesday. Welcome to Dongalong. I'm known as Formative of Fawn. My card?
Conceptual detective and director of Advanced Fulcrum Magnetic Works of Fang.
Yes. Please, this way.
Intergalactic Construction and Mining is interested in your process of advanced magnetics that will enable asteroid clusterings.
Our technology is absolutely unique.
How large a mass can you move?
Well, this varies considerably with the densities, of course. What do you have in mind?
Possible diameter of, say, 2,000 kilometers?
Oh, no. You're speaking of worlds, Miss Tuesday. That's absolutely impossible. Now, to free a world is far beyond present technology. In a reasonable situation, speaking of asteroids, of course, we virtually guarantee that IGCM will increase the profit
I'd like to see what you have.
I see. Of course. This way, please. It is, of course, necessary to take in tow your asteroids once the state of inertness is completed. In the near future, we fully anticipate to accomplish this from controls upon the asteroid itself. But for the present, a space vehicle is needed for tow.
What do you lasso it with?
No. Oh, a joke. Yeah. I see. Well, we direct a beam to the craft. Using one of your space caterpillars, you may tow several moderate-sized asteroids once they're set free.
But you can't tow a planet.
Possibly, if, and this is the big if you could free the planet. But a 2,000-kilometer world? Small, I grant you, but again, The density of the mass, this must be a crucial consideration.
The dark forces of Fang, could they infiltrate your organization?
Without our knowledge? Absolutely impossible. Aren't you aware of the Dongalongi's mind?
Oh, sure. But the dark force is able to think outside the group mind, right?
Of course.
Why?
You cannot understand our ways, Miss Tuesday.
What the hell do you expect? I'm an alien.
That's precisely my point.
But we both speak Angloese, right?
So?
So, how is the dark force able to think and act without being detected? They're operating outside, right?
No.
On the periphery.
Yes.
That's all you're gonna say?
You are not a legitimate representative of IGCM.
You knew that all along.
Good day.
Look, one straight answer and poof, I'm gone.
I cannot give your stupid straight answer.
Please?
You know nothing of the basic canons of the Great Fong.
Who is the Great Fong? You know, I wouldn't mind putting a permanent bend in that spindly little green arm of yours.
You are an ignorant pink alien. Get out.
I hate being called a pink alien.
Do not touch me. Oh.
Answer. Let's have 'em.
All right. Ah! I said all right.
All right. Now first, the dark forces of Fang, where are they?
No one knows.
How do they function outside the group mind?
It is the basic canon that they are allowed to roam the periphery.
What does that mean?
You cannot understand. It means their thoughts are not known by the group mind.
Why not?
Because it is the basic canon of the great conceptual Fong.
Oh, Christ! Who's the Great Fong?
The Almighty.
Who?
Ouch! God!
You're right. I don't understand.
I do not accept your apology.
Keep your finger away from that button or I'll snap it like a string bean.
I was merely attempting to call the air car so you may leave.
Sure.
Everyone is aware of what has happened here.
So what?
You are hardly welcome upon Dongalong.
I never was. The air car took me back to the city. I told the driver to drop me off at the library. Took him a few minutes to figure out where it was. When I entered, I understood why. It was a small, dusty building, absolutely empty of people, not even a librarian. I pored through old books, manuscripts, videograms, without much success. Everything was in fragments. Their modern culture had existed for only about 300 years. When they were taught Angloese from some missionary group, their culture changed drastically. The true history might still be alive in the oral tradition. The original Dongalongese language, that was never written. Looked like they'd lost interest in the written stuff. Could be because the very nature of a book creates a certain detachment from the subject. Pretty soon you start treating people as objects. I left. Stepped outside and got some fresh air in my lungs. I started back to the hotel. A digital marquee caught my eye. I was surprised to see an old Holly theater, you know, the old three-dimensional holography movies. The marquee was flashing the greatest conceptual detective of them all. So I went in. I expected it to be empty, but it was full of well-scrubbed little green faces. Must have been a kiddie matinee. The Holly equipment was ancient, centuries old, and the Holly they were showing was just about as old. It was a whodunit with some second-rate sleuth by the name of Frederick Fong. At first, I figure it must have been made on Dongalong. The city looks the same, but then I realize the actors are all Terrans. No one's green. It was made back on Terra 300 or 400 years ago. There's something very odd here. There's someone in the Holly that's beckoning to me. The scene changes. Frederick Fong is in an old surface auto charging down the highway. Changes again. He's standing on a rocky beach with the surf blasting away around him. But the figure remains, smiling, beckoning. I check the exits. The theater is empty. Everyone has sneaked off, or they were never here. At the exits are heavies, obviously equipped with stunners and shields. That two-finger beckon happens to be one forked finger. He's smiling. Come on. Step into the Holly. Come on in. The illusion of water is delightful. I step in.
How nice to see you, Miss Tuesday. May I borrow one of your Terran cigarettes?
Pretty elaborate setup just to bum a cigarette.
I am a creative villain. Thank you.
What do you want?
I am so impressed by your cigarette case. May I examine it?
Sure. Watch it. It snaps. Forked examined the case. I don't think he was wise to the compact kernel. Finally, he simply handed it back. He picked up talking where we'd left off a few scenes ago.
Terrans are well known for their insistent illusions of a separate self, an odd phenomenon in the universe.
You operate as a loner, except for your heavies over there.
I operate with the consensus of the group.
Oh, you're number one villain because that's what everyone wants.
Exactly.
That's bullshit.
If you knew the history of Dongalong, it would not be bullshit. None of it is real.
What?
I warn you, leave Dongalong, or you will never leave.
Hey, wait, what happened to Cleo?
Cleo is not real.
Nice. I left the theater. Walked back to the hotel. There was a message in the teledome.
Miss Tuesday, if you may please to return to visit wretched antique shop, the Falcon of Fong has most curious and perhaps vital
No one around. Falcon! I heard his footsteps. Heavy. Suddenly he staggered through the bead curtain, wobbled a couple of steps forward, and then collided with the floor. There was a knife in his back. But something didn't figure. He'd staggered through the bead curtain without even moving it. I knelt down and touched his body. My hand sunk through to the floor. He wasn't there. The beads rattled behind me.
Please excuse simplistic display of Holly's sleight of hand.
What's the point?
A humble demonstration in three-dimensional illusionary.
I've just been to the Hollies.
Ah, Freddie Fong was greatest conceptual gumshoe. He is God to us, as you know.
So I've noticed.
Please to sit for cup of wretched tea?
Yeah. How the hell did a whole planet come to idolize a detective that never existed?
Have the Terrans not had their Shylock Holmes?
Sherlock. But we never promoted him to God.
They say many a life must be lived to learn the most sophisticated games upon the planet.
So what?
A Class 7 android need but one life.
Go on.
The planet Cleo was not discovered until 2430, only 3 of your standard years ago.
Yeah, I know that.
It was in the far reaches of Saudi Asteroidia.
Yeah.
The Colonel himself discovered the planet.
Others confirmed it.
Cleo was not explored.
No.
The Falcon of Fong has uncovered connections most curious.
Between what?
Between Colonel Abdullah and the Callisto holography works. An extremely powerful holographic laser has been built for the Colonel Abdullah.
I'm getting the drift. You're thinking Cleo never existed, was a Holly projected out in space. But from where would he project it?
From satellite.
Can you rely on your sources?
Indubitably.
Why was I sent here?
To steal Dongalong.
No, wait. Just wait. I know it's a little more than coincidence that your planet runs the same circumference as the Sheik's beloved Cleo, but what's he want with another planet? He owns a whole solar system with about 100,000 asteroids. Wait, this is the big one. There's no way to free a planet the size of Dongalong, right?
Maybe right.
You mean that jerk at the Magnetic Works was lying?
No. There is no technology in existence.
Let's take it again. Why does the Sheik want Dongalong?
Most probable he does not.
I mean, I thought the whole idea...
Probable Sheik Ali knows only that Cleo is missing. But the reward... Do you know the reward Colonel Abdullah will receive when Cleo is returned?
He'll be given Cleo?
You make top-notch conceptual detective.
Have I been conned?
Do not leap to final conclusion. We must wallow some more in bafflement.
I wonder how he planned to do it.
We have made delightful progress.
You think he knows of a way to move a planet this size?
Who can say?
It looked like the greasy android had set me up. If the Falcon's info was right, it still left the big question. How did the Colonel figure I could free this planet? You know, two things get me about the Dongalongese. From a distance, they all seem to be smiling to themselves, like they were telepathing jokes to each other. The other thing is, they all look exactly alike. When they first meet you, they change their faces so they look like separate people. You know how it is when you arrive on a new planet? First everyone looks the same, and then as you hang around you're able to sort them out, they become individuals. Well, here, they put on faces for the tourists, but they really did look alike. And the more you stayed here, the less they bothered to look different anymore. Colonel? You still in there?
Yes?
What's with the Holly hardware? You know what Yeah?
Cigarette?
Oh, sure.
What hardware?
Shut up.
Who's that?
You want a cigarette?
I asked for one.
Then shut up and take it.
I'll take it.
Hey! He snatched the case and tried to flee, but my Smith Kawasaki special caught him square on the spine. He crumpled in a soft heap. The Colonel went bouncing across the cobblestones. You okay? Okay, fine. Taxi! Fountain of Fun. Keep it. Let's go. Colonel.
What?
The Callisto holographic works.
What?
Yeah, what?
My hobby.
Bullshit.
Miss Rubies, do not allow the wise green gentleman, the Falcon of Fogness, to distract from the true purposes. Find planet Cleo.
I found it.
Well,
I'm standing on it, creep. Hey, cabby. You're heading out of town. I said my hotel, the Fountain of... Uh-oh. The sweet smell of snuff gas came oozing out of the cushions. I tried for the door. No button. I was stuck. The cab rolled on. The fog rolled in. The city shifted. Scenes replayed. Backwards, forwards, slow, fast. The old proverbial light flashing before the dying mind. Out of the fog marched rows of green pillars. They circled me and stopped. The fog bowed and separated and departed. There was a light above my head. Dongalong's little white potato moon was crossing a hole in the clouds. To the left was a glow, a bonfire, with dancers hopping up and down as though they'd been sitting on it. Ugh! I'm chained to something. It's chilly. Christ, they've taken my clothes.
Do not struggle against fate, Miss Tuesday. My card.
Flushed face of Fang sacrificer and conceptual detective.
Yours is a most honorable sacrifice.
Look, flushed face. If you think you've got a virgin maiden here, I've got some disappointing news.
You will be delivered to the great demon of deja vu. Look behind you.
These weren't pillars. These were toes. I was tied to the toenail of this absurdly gigantic and grotesque statue. I could use a conceptual detective. Want a job? Fat chance of fang. Mind if I have a smoke?
Oh, you will smoke plenty soon.
Come on. My cigarettes are probably in that heap of clothes over there.
Such pink, smooth skin.
Keep your paws off.
So pleasant for flushed face to touch.
You want a kick in the green balls?
I see no cigarettes.
They're in a case.
Oh. Your cigarettes.
Look, can you free a hand? No tricks.
I free one hand.
Thanks. Next time I need a gumshoe, I'll remember you. Colonel. Hey, these green clowns. Do you want to say something?
Welcome to the Dongalongi's mind.
I didn't see it coming. Flushed Face grabbed my arm and the old woman stabbed me with a hypo. The stuff was quick. I went under like that. My life took a leisurely spin backwards, right past birth, to when I'm floating around in the ether, planning it all. I'm figuring out what needs to be done in this life. It's a beautiful, intricate plot, because it's connected with everyone else's life, you understand? It's like all the planets out there are connected by a thin, invisible magnetic line, and whatever happens to one affects the others. I start forward again, approaching birth, from the unborn side. I know my memory of the plot will be erased at the moment of birth. That's the way life's set up, in case you didn't know. There's a sudden explosion of light, crashing crescendos of sound, and I'm born. The unconscious is left remembering the blueprint. There's a break in the action. A tall, hooded figure steps out of the shadows.
Miss Tuesdays, you have a lot of nerve for a gumshoe, hmm?
Gumptious.
Chained to a toe of the demon of deja vu. And such a lovely galactic gumshoe.
Gumptious.
Yes, I caught it the first time. May I borrow one of your Terran cigarettes?
They're not on me.
I can see that.
They're on the ground, under my foot.
A pretty case.
Sounds like the break's over.
If they complete this ceremony, you'll never leave.
Look, what do you want?
I want you to leave.
I'm chained.
What are you looking at?
They're filling up the hypo again.
You will leave Dongalong?
Christ, yes.
Immediately?
You bet.
Do not change your
The
mind.
chains.
Fortunately, my forked finger is equipped with a mini laser.
The old priestess is headed this way.
Fortunately, the other fork has a stunner.
They've seen us.
Eyes mean little here. They have caught your thoughts.
What about yours?
My thoughts are exempt. Come. This way. A taxi is waiting.
Hold on, I want my clothes. Oh, shit, they took my Smith Kawasaki special.
Take this.
What, your finger?
Extra finger stunner.
Sure, what the hell? Oh, Christ, here they come. A little broken field running, and we made it to the taxi. I scrambled in, but Fork just waved, and we drove off without him. Behind the wheel sat Flushed Face of Fang. I didn't ask any questions. Flushed Face waited while I went in the hotel and got my stuff. I was ready to head for the spaceport, but when I came out, he was gone. The Falcon sat behind the wheel. What happened to Flushed Face?
He is presently engaged in other tasks. Please to get in.
I don't think so.
Time is not in our favor, please.
Where the hell were you, old partner?
More pressing explanation is in order. I beg of you to pardon. Falcon does not wish to use this stunner.
My Smith Kawasaki special.
The same.
We drove down the beach. We stopped a short distance away from what I figured was an old Dongalongese tribal hut. When I heard the singing, a sudden blast of deja vu made my knees wobble.
Please to enter.
dark green old men sat on straw mats in a circle. Candles lit the interior. There was a peacefulness here that I hadn't felt on this planet. There was also a sadness.
They sing the ancient song of Dongalong before the coming of the missionary.
This is the history of Dongalong?
Yes. There was a time before the year of our Fong when a missionary arrived upon our planet. Before his arrival, we knew no evil, no villainy. We did not even know what is a gumshoe. After the missionary, we knew it all.
Falcon translated. The missionary had one weakness that wrecked the civilization of an entire world. The Dongalongese have a simple little proverb that says, possess, possessions, possessed. The missionary had his prized possession, a collection of all the old Freddie Fong hollies. When the missionary first started to preach, no one paid attention, but when he showed his hollies to a culture of innocent little green people that had no modern technology, that had never seen a TV, or even a flat movie, let alone a three-dimensional holly, they were enchanted. Thousands came to see Freddie Fong, the great Oriental detective, as he pursued the worst criminals in Terra's solar system. The missionary spoke after each feature, and of course they tolerated him just to see Freddie Fong, their hero, their idol, and, with those preachings, their God.
The great Freddie Fong was God, for it was through his word and deed that our culture was recreated. We became a civilization of detectives on a planet that knew no crime. There was nothing to detect. Ours was one mind.
Everyone decided they wanted to be a detective. They got suckered into the concepts of good and evil. The one mind that never made those distinctions started to divide. They started looking for evil where there wasn't any.
Great unrest in those days.
The missionary finally went mad and croaked, but the damage was done. To save the group mind before they totally divided into fragments, the elders laid down the first canon of Fong. A few of the chosen would be villains. The rest, if they could find someone to hire them, would be detectives. But the difference here is the group mind. The villains would be allowed to operate on the periphery of the mind. The detectives developed the elegant art of conceptual detection. I would have thought everyone would want to be Fong or God, right?
No, no. For he who is pursued by the great Fong is as honored as Fong. Fong cannot exist without the honored foe.
Phew. Your culture's a mess. It's dying. It's strangling itself. Conceptual detectives everywhere, and only themselves to detect. You should all get your ass off of this world.
Appreciate wise counsel, but not possible. There is no individuals here. We cannot exist separated from each other. We die.
You're dying anyway.
What is to do?
I felt sorry for him. But what the hell, I gotta end the story. Falcon dropped me off at the spaceport. We just looked at each other and shrugged. I inserted the course into the ship's computer and blasted off for home. So long, Dongalong. I was hoping to sleep the whole voyage, but the old men and their sad song kept serenading my dreams. I woke up. Something was off. I checked the course. I was on a trajectory for somewhere other than home. I repunched the course, no change. I punched up the rear view screen, expecting to see Dongalong a little speck out here in space. But it filled the viewer. It's right behind me. I'm only a couple of 100 kilometers off the surface. I never left. But I'm not sure where I was. We're both moving. I'm towing the goddamn thing. Colonel?
Yes?
What's going on?
I beg your pardon.
Dongalong is following me.
Surprising.
Oh, yeah! Hold it a second. The computer's... Oh, shit! I'm locked on a course for Saudi Asteroidia.
And may you have a pleasant voyage.
Oh. How did you do it?
An agreement.
With whom?
With Dong Along.
Yeah.
I knew what they wanted and needed, so I offered it.
Yeah.
A planet of detectives without clients to hire them or capers to pursue is not only pitiful, but doomed for extinction. But you, Ruby, you came with the fresh scent of exotic ports far flung across the galaxy. You brought the exquisite intrigues of another solar system. In fact, the same solar system wherefrom came the great Freddie Fong. You brought the exuberance of youth and hope for these pathetic little green bastards.
You knew they'd follow me?
Yes, if you survive it.
How did they free it?
Consciousness affects reality, a basic law of physics. The graveness of gravity and the lightness of levity.
So now we're all going to Saudi Asteroidia.
Yes. You can never leave, of course.
What?
Don't you know? Are you so stupid? You have become part of them. They will follow you wherever you go. There's nothing left to do.
Oh, yes, there's one thing left.
No, everything is taken care of.
Not quite.
Oh, yeah. What are you doing?
Looking for a ball-peen hammer.
Do not be so foolish as to...
Colonel, we've had some nice little chit-chats.
No.
Goodbye.
You cannot hurt me. I am not actually in a cigarette case. As you are...
I know, you're not really in there.
Stop.
Just an exact reproduction, right?
No.
Your reproduction is a little too exact, isn't it? You want to know how I knew? When that joker snatched the case and you went bouncing on the cobblestones, I said, he really did make an exact copy of himself. I remembered, a Class 7 android has emotion. Can feel pain, right?
Most certainly brilliant, first-class conceptual detection.
Excellent deduction.
Thanks, boys. Where are you?
On the periphery of your mind.
I'm stuck with you, huh?
But with the combined minds of an entire world civilization, we may solve the most intricate of capers.
Look, gang, I can't spend the rest of my life having a planet following me around.
We will stay at a most respectful distance, of course.
Dongalong is quite small, no larger than Terra's moon.
We are a dying race of detectives with no caper to solve. Please.
Okay. But don't crowd me, all right?
This moment is a most happy item on the golden scroll of memory.
Colonel, you got anything to say? So, as it turns out, this is just one of a number of stories about Ruby Tuesday, the first galactic private eye to wander the stars with a planet balanced over a shoulder. She solved some of the toughest cases in the galaxy, with the aid of a small planet, a little green gumshoes that followed her, at a respectful distance, of course.
Heard in the cast were Laura Esterman as Ruby Tuesday, Tom Stewart as the Falcon of Fong and a few minor Fongs, Chris Hendry as the Forked Forefinger of Fong and also a few other minor Fongs, Skip Pink as Colonel Abula Abdullah and a few small Fongs. The plaintive songs of the old Dongalongese men were recorded in the Solomon Islands by Bill Viola. Music was composed and performed by the brilliant space science fiction fantasy composer Tim Clark. Script written by Meatball Fong Fulton. Produced by ZBS Media.
Thanks for watching.